Say hi, Quasimodo. Hi, so handsome. So today I worked on the 2 Cabbage Patch photos in the Collections and Lines album. The 2 ones that were like outfit sets, not the ones that were big whole collection photo shoots. This morning I did the career onesies, and I had a couple models that overlapped. Daniel over here and Dennis over here were in the other photo as well. But what I did this morning, because I knew I was going to get both done today, I figured I would just get all of them that I could dressed up. So when I was putting people in career onesies, I was also dressing up 4 out of the 6 animals. And then I set aside the lion and reindeer costume. So when I first took this, we didn't have that many dolls, and like compared to how many cabbages we have now. And I realized before that the short loops work best for these costumes, but at the time most of our guys with short loops looked like Derek and Daniel. With the tan loops, those cabbages seem really common. Shelly and I had a couple when we were kids. Actually, I think ours looked exactly like Mark and Derek, like they were literally the same set of twins. But I figured I'd throw in Lenore, because she's our only girl that has the tan loops. She's a circus kid. And I thought, you know, she would like, because some of these costumes are a little bit girly, but I kept Derek the bunny because look at his tooth. Decided to swap out somebody for Lenore. One of the boys with like those tan loops. Oh, it was Mark, Derek's brother. I swapped her out. I kept Dennis Paul the bear because he's like the perfect little brown bear. He's just so cute. And I decided, since I like the way these look so much on Dennis, that I would have Almanzo, who we didn't have before. We got him a couple years ago, but it was after I took the original in this photo. I thought Almanzo, who is also a twin like Derek, but he's from '86, I believe. So I thought he would make a really good reindeer. And I decided that Nathan was a cool doll we didn't have last time. But I just thought Daniel made such a cute lion that I kept Daniel. And because Daniel Joseph is like one of our favorite cabbages ever. Before, I actually had baby Martin, who is a bald doll, in this reindeer costume. And what I find with these is that despite this drawstring, these really don't fit super well on dolls with like pigtails of any kind. And they also, like, Martin's head just didn't have enough structure to hold these ears up. It was very hard to pose him. So I didn't want to use our bald doll again. I feel like it was Shelly's birthday that I wrote this list. I wrote a list, but I was thinking about how I wasn't sure when we hear about from my cousin about this part we needed for the Jeep to fix the trunk. And we were thinking about having, going out to buy Chinese food for Shelly's birthday and doing that earlier in the evening because I had something to do in the evening. I was really distracted. And the reason I know I was really distracted while writing the list of dolls for this photo is that I wrote, you know, Derek Bunny, Lenore Lamb, Dennis Bear, but then I got to Nathan and I didn't write mouse, I wrote elephant. This is not an elephant costume. So that's actually kind of funny. Some of these animal sleepers have these really great detailed patches. In addition to the ones on the feet, they have these. These ones have it. Just very cute. We actually have 2 of the mouse costume because we actually got one on Daniel. I was kind of inspired by the random stuffed animals you see in some of the shots in the Cabbage Patch collector's books we have. So I decided to put out some of like my childhood Beanie Babies. Like, I've had this stuffed animal. This is Makuta. I named her when I was very young. Probably since I was like about kindergarten age, like probably 5, 6 years old. This is my first Beanie Baby. This is Chops. I got him for my 10th birthday, and I got Fleece, you know, within the next couple of years, but I don't remember exactly when. This is Beanie Baby Dad bought me later, and this was, me, Shelly, and Mom each have one of these Avon bears, but I think this is the only one we have left, and actually this was Mom's honey bear. And then this is Bambi. I had her since I was in 1st grade, I say her, but there's antlers, but we're gonna pretend because I thought this was a girl when I was a kid. And yeah, and then I changed out the flooring. I had out our balloon backdrop laid flat as flooring for the old photo, but I just something about it was bothering me. It almost felt too busy, so I subbed it out for the vines, which still adds something, but it's a little more subtle. But yeah, I had a good time setting this up. Sometimes things just aren't made to last. So this is my Bennett from eBay. My old Bennett is actually, so I had these guys out for an old collection thumbnail retake, but my old Bennett is technically up here. So I couldn't bear throwing him away, but see how he's like, left his tail is hanging and he looks dirty because his collar came off and he's got no ears. He doesn't really look like a dog anymore, but he still smells. Actually, he doesn't smell that good anymore. He used to smell really good. Oh, and he's missing his nose. This is my old Bennett. Honestly, based on the smell, it might be getting time for me to finally throw him away, but I'm still not ready. So I keep him in here. But this is my same Bennett that I got off eBay back in 2012, because I remember Dad was in the hospital when I ordered this Bennett on eBay. I'm really sad right now because I went to, he was standing next to my childhood doll, my first childhood doll, and I went to put just a little bit of putty on his collar because the collar's coming off and Shelly needs to glue the collar, and as you see now the ear is off too. Shelly actually had to like, yeah, it's the same ear, push it back on. Yeah, it's falling off. I knew that was inevitable, but I'm really sad. The thing is, like, things aren't made to last forever, and like I have this Bennett who I got around like 2004. He's actually with my Molly, who I got for Christmas 04. That's my other childhood Molly. I use him in more photos because anytime Emily and Molly are together, I tend to put Bennett and Yank in there too. Because why not? I love this guy because he still smells like my childhood, and just very sad. But Shelly's gonna glue his ear back on and he'll be salvageable. He's still out in my room all the time. Like, I keep him on my doll's lap.
So we've done some rearranging in the basement. It's really dark in here because there's only that one light bulb. Anyways, so, and that sound is a dehumidifier. So I made a drawer for Rainbow and Shadow High. This was empty because we had miscellaneous clothes in there that we split up into two of those that we got thrifting. They were in the miscellaneous MGA drawer before, but it looks pretty empty in here only because I got some clothes at the flea market that I have yet to bag and put in there. This was where the LOL boxes and like hat boxes and shoe boxes were in. This was vacated and it's really dark in this corner, but that's where they are now. This I got to put Barbie plants in, but you'll see where we put those, but everything else over here is the same. And I do have some like empty things that I got at thrift stores for $5 each. That's why they're on top of the tower empty. It's always good to have a little growing room. And then in Babyland, so there were already some empty drawers in here from rearranging, but some of the dishes were getting kind of out of control, so I pulled all of the kitchen appliances out and put them in here so they have lots of growing room. And then there's some empty compartments in here where the pots and pans were, because when I was rephotographing all of my Flickr stuff, I noticed they kept catching. So, and I moved their lids in here into a bigger thing where plates were. And then that way these plates were in that skinny thing I just showed you the lids are in now. So these kept spilling out. We'll probably do a little bit additional rearranging for some of the other categories that are kind of hitting the top. But that helps that. And then this guy I picked up for free on the side of the road. I showed it in one of my haul videos. It was pretty grotesque, but I cleaned it. So we moved all of the Barbie gardening stuff in here. And the nice thing about this is you can put the mushroom containers in for organization. These types are a little bit too shallow. And then our miscellaneous Barbie drawer, which literally, it has all kinds of strange things.
What is this? I didn't even know we had that.
I don't know.
That is so cute.
And like my High School Musical ring that came with Sharpay. I don't know. It's just some like random
That
stuff.
is so cute. I didn't even know we had that.
You know, some of them are oddly sized. And then this guy is for Barbie household, or just doll household, I guess. And
Like the lamps were catching a lot in the other drawer.
spinning wheel, somehow I fit in there. That's Sunshine Family.
Yeah.
Yep. If they're like a bigger category like Bratz or Mary Kate and Ashley, where they have enough stuff for their own drawer or drawers, that's how that's organized. But like Barbie, quote unquote, it usually just entails everybody that doesn't have their own category, and then this guy is just empty. So that is how we reorganized in Babyland. And we reorganized in this pink room months ago, but I forgot to show it. This is where we keep like our backdrops and stuff. Now, so this is where all the American Girl and like 18-inch doll accessories are. So we bought this specially for like overflow food, but I moved all of my Cabbage Patch clothes that were in here out. They were like real baby clothes for the most part that my cabbies wear. They're not in here anymore. But it's really dark. But there's like school stuff, American Girl bags, coolers and baskets and kitchen appliances, more drinks, pet stuff.
Pet and outdoor.
Yep, and then this is just larger pet stuff. And then this is still, like, these still have accessories too. They're just not as crowded. Yeah, we reorganized. So this used to, originally, when I first started collecting dolls again, I used this for just my American Girl clothes. They quickly outsourced that. Then it was American Girl shoes that filled out all these drawers. Then I started bagging the shoes with the clothes, and then it just became for Cabbage Patch stuff, and now it's accessories.
And then we still keep stuff in the white Our Generation trunk.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like this, where it's like more growing room, because a friend of mine gave us a few months ago just a ton of American Girl accessories, like American Girl sized accessories, so we just had more than we could fit in the pre-existing space, so that's why we turned that into a place for accessories. But then the only things that we really changed up and took most of our American Girl accessories out of are Molly's trunk and that one that we used to think belonged to Samantha, but it's actually a Toys R Us trunk. Someone informed us it wasn't actually Sam's. We just have in Sam's, we have the mini doll boxes and our American Girl like care tags and like my Magic Attic care tags. And in Molly's trunk we just have like my Twist and Style and Tiffany's styling guns and other stuff that goes to that. My old Bennett that's like, you know, I think I showed him in like one of the last clips where he's just like haggard. Stuff like that we don't use too much, but it's like sentimental and sometimes I need it. Like I was just in both of those over the weekend, but yeah.
Also, something really annoying that happened, I got those Miniverse plant set, like a Miniverse plant set, months ago. I think back in April. Yeah, back in April. And it comes with resin, and I made it. And I carried that resin for a long time under my lamp. I had it on my desk for a few days where sunlight could hit it. And they seemed fine, but I guess they did not fully cure. And this was a common thing with Miniverse stuff from more recent times because they changed the chemical amount so it was friendly for kids, because it used to cure really fast and really well because it had higher chemical percentages in it. So they had to lower it to make it safe for kids, but that means it needs stronger UV lamps and more time to cure. And I didn't get any directions with mine either, so I mean maybe I did something wrong, but I mean I've been using resin for years. And besides the like one incident where I made a hair clip for my American Girls and it just didn't cure all the way in the back, I never really had an issue. Like sometimes they're a little tacky, but it's not like they've ever globbed resin. This is stuff in the plant drawer that got affected that is soaking in OxyClean. I cleaned it with rubbing alcohol. I scraped stuff out with popsicle sticks and toothpicks. I also used some acetone, and this is their second soak, so they should be fine. And then the only pieces that seem to be fully cured are these two, and like I've been tugging at the flowers and shaking this around to make sure that the resin is fully cured, but it seems okay. Hopefully they are okay, because that is just so annoying. I will not be buying Miniverse stuff again unless...
Even on clear.
I mean, well, maybe I'm going to get a better nail lamp because that's probably part of the problem. I did some research, so I'm going to get a different one next time I order off Amazon, but really annoying. I can't believe they marketed this for kids. Terrible idea.
So today I decided to retake the photo of when our second Felicity doll, Emerald, came home from the doll hospital. This is a video thumbnail. It didn't have a floor before, and Shelly didn't have her architect lamp yet, so the lighting and flooring are different. But also, cool fun fact, about like 4 months or so ago, a friend of mine from work gave me a bunch of cool, like, My Life as stuff. Like, these come out of a pet prescription set. I had this blood pressure cuff, and then I think this is our real American Girl stethoscope. No, I don't think Kira's folds like that. I think that's a fake one. They're like almost the same color and everything. But yeah, I got little syringes that I didn't have before, thermometer. These bandages came with Shelly's Marisol Dolls Accessories, and, like, you know, these books we've had forever, but like this stuff here, I didn't have any of it last time except Marisol's thing. This bag actually goes to Shelly's Grecian Halloween costume. The reason I did this today is actually because Elizabeth was already wearing this and I wanted her to stay wearing it. And then this balloon we actually got with Addy when she came home from the doll hospital. This bear is always on Shelly's Samantha shelf, and I just stripped his sweater for the photo, just like I did last time. I subbed out Molly's bed for Sam's bed because it matches the backdrop. You can see there's another one there. So it looks more like a real hospital room that way, like there's two matching beds. That'll probably get cut off anyway, but hey, if it doesn't, that'd be very cool. Last time I had over here our big Cabbage Patch food tray from a feeding set because I thought it looked like a hospital meal tray, but this Our Generation one, again, I think my friend Thelma gave me this tray just a few months back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is from when she gave me. I know I did buy a lunch set around that same time, so I'm not 100% sure, but I decided it's smaller, so much smaller, in fact, I could put it on her lap. And this is like our American Girl brownie from the real cooler that Shelly got me for Christmas a couple years ago. This I actually think goes to this tray. I put out some utensils, Felicity's hospital certificate. I filled, last time I just had Josephina's bowl with a scrub brush in it, but this time I did a whole case of cosmetics that some of it, the toothbrush goes to my Life as, like, Care Bear Slumber Party playset, but the rest of it, actually most of it comes with this case that I got from my friend. And then these are actually Felicity and Kirsten's get well cards from when they went to the hospital. I put both out. Just another accessory from my friend. And then Molly's lamp and geranium and Josephina's candle stayed out, but I just thought it would be nice to update it while I had Elizabeth in this outfit. A lot of the photos I've been taking the last couple days have been added American Girl line photos, so I thought it would be nice to have like another replacement photo done today. I was originally going to wait and take this the same day that I do Sam's, like, Samantha and Nellie in their pajamas, but it didn't make sense to me to do that now when Shelly's making some new flooring as we speak. And this is like the flooring I wanted for a hospital setting, but not the flooring I wanted for that other photo. So it doesn't matter them to have this backdrop and the bed out again. But I really enjoyed this. It's supposed to kind of look like a weird time travel-y hospital because there's clearly newer medical implements but older dolls in modern hospital attire. But I had a great time doing this.
So I finally got something that's been on my to-do list for a long time checked off. This is a bed my dad made me for my Addy doll for Christmas 1997, and it's a rope bed like the one that she had in the catalog, and I've had it since I was 6, and it never had bedding. When my dad made Colleen a canopy bed for her birthday in 1997, he had my grandmother make bedding, but I didn't end up having any bedding for this, so we just used towels when I was growing up. And like my pillow, I remember that I used to have for nap time at elementary school. When I was done with it for school, it was like the mattress pad. And so for years I've wanted to make bedding, but I'm not great at sewing. So I finally decided, once I found this fabric at a thrift store a while back, that this would be perfect for Addy's bed. You can see my sewing isn't great. So the mattress pad is made from this fabric here. I got when I was like 13 when I made my Kaya doll a dress, which there's pictures of it on my Flickr. It's horrible, but this was leftover fabric from that. And then the like inside of it is batting from this big pack Colleen brought home from work that they were going to throw out some years ago. It's like the kind that's in big sheets, so I just layered like 4 sheets together, so it was nice and plush, because when the doll sits on it, the ropes kind of go down. And then all the pillows are made from different like scrap fabric. So this back one here that has the coffee cup on it is from an old shirt of Colleen's that she got for free at work. Like it was part of a gift bag, and it ended up getting a lot of holes, but I saved it so I could use it for sewing things because it's a nice fabric. This fabric is also from Walmart from like 20 plus years ago when I was sewing clothes for my American Girls. I used this same fabric when I made my Cabbage Patch crib bedding. I still have a few little pieces of it left over. And then this is from one of those like small, I think they're like fat quarters that they sell at Walmart. I got this a few years ago for one of my mini Ariel dolls because she was naked when I got her, and I didn't have any clothes that would fit, so I made her a dress out of this fabric. So that's left over from that. This is from an old dress that was my grandmother's. My custom Odette doll used the like white portion that was the top. This is from the skirt. And then this guy is double-sided. These were like, this was like actually in a circle shape, which is what gave me the idea to make it into a pillow. And this was just sort of like an uneven, roughly cut scrap of fabric. These were both in my Star Traveler when I bought it at the flea market in the fall last year, and I washed them and I knew they would come in handy for something, and I thought that like either side would look really cute with Addy's bed. So I sort of went with like a bunch of different prints because, you know, in Addy's stories, her mom works at a dress shop and they don't have a lot of money, and I just thought it kind of captured the vibe of that while also looking really cute. So now, well, there will be something to use with it specifically for photos. Of course, we could borrow other bedding, but I'm glad that Addy actually has her own bedding, though my sewing needs a lot of work. Oh, and I forgot to mention what I used to stuff these pillows. I had some like little bits of leftover batting that I cut off from doing the mattress to get it to the right size. So I took those little scraps. I have like up there on that shelf, you can kind of see the bag right there. I still have plenty of it left over, but I just took the scraps and I stuffed one of the pillows with that, and then some of like the rest of this fabric, it was like too small and weirdly cut, so I stuffed it in here for part of the stuffing. You know, any of the trimmings I just stuffed inside. And then I have a whole bag of Kanani stuffing from when I got her a new torso on eBay. It's like a used torso, but when I replaced her torso. So this is the stuffing that was in her original body. I had washed it when I got my doll and deep cleaned her, so I used some of this. I do have a whole bag of polyfill stuffing back there that I got at a thrift store over the summer for projects, but I wanted to use up my like scraps first.
Today is, I think it's the last Saturday in September. So I took this photo a couple weeks ago, and I don't remember whether or not I filmed a clip of it, but I ended up having to retake it because it somehow got deleted off of Shelly's computer. So I ended up having to reset it up. However, the good thing was I had taken a photo of this on my phone to show a friend, and even though I couldn't use that photo because my phone quality is, honestly, the pictures on my phone are terrible. But apart from that, like, when Shelly goes to do this for Flickr, she takes out her architect lamp. The digital camera, again, is way better quality. It would just stand out in a bad way if we'd uploaded the version from my phone, even with editing. But the good news is I kind of used that as a blueprint. How that happened is probably that Shelly and I were both getting over, you can still kind of hear it in my voice, the cold that we had like 2 weeks ago. She wasn't really thinking clearly. And also there was the fact that I'd been taking, like, and I'm still working on taking, like these serried American Girl photos for our Collections and Lines album. Some of them are replacements, some of them are new uploads, but that's where I'm at in the Collections and Lines album, which is like this big ongoing project. It'll probably take me at least the rest of like, at least another year, maybe longer to do. Because I'm adding new photos. I did it with Monster High, I did it with Cave Club, I started with Mary Kate and Ashley. Ever After High took like 5 minutes, but basically it's like an ongoing project doing like these group shots. So Shelly had a ton of American Girl photos, so this one didn't really stand out in that lineup. So when she saw it in the recycling bin, she didn't realize it was not one she'd already uploaded to Flickr. So yeah, I reset it up, and this is for Shelly's, I think the video is called New Fun with Old Friends. It's like a upcoming Dolly Diaries episode that's kind of like, it's Dolly Diaries, but it's not like one of our, from this time to this time. It's like purely based on projects with old dolls. There were a ton of dolls of all scales that I could have included in this that Shelly showed during the video. But I've been wanting to do something with like Samantha's kitchen for a long time, which would mean only using like 3 or 4 dolls. Shelly actually had 2 of her Samanthas, her childhood one and this one in the video. This is Bethan. She redid both their hair, and then these 2 dolls, my Rebecca and Shelly's childhood Felicity, got their ears pierced on that video. So that's why they were included, but I just did this because it was fun. I mean, we had this great little house on the prairie, stove by Queen's Treasures. We have Samantha's Scene the Setting set, which we thrifted. So this was just a lot of fun for me. They're supposed to be like cooking a meal. The nice thing was that because I set this up just a few weeks back, even though I'm working on this series of American Girl photos, the good news is we have multiple Felicities. We have 3 of her and 4 of Samantha. So even though I've used Felicity's and Samantha's in other photos since, I didn't need these specific dolls because Shelly's childhood Felicity, she actually looks really good today, but she has a bit of a yellow cast to her skin that in some outfits is really prominent. And then Bethan, who's Shelly's thrifted Samantha, has a bit of a wonky eye thing going, so they're not usually models. However, Rebecca, who's my girl, has been used a lot in these photos because we only have one of her and we only have one of Kit, and they're both like prominently featured in these shots. So unfortunately she was wearing her pajamas and I had to redress her, but redressing 1 doll instead of 3, it took me way less long to set this up than it did the first time. And it's almost lunchtime and I'm going to put this away.
So on Friday I decided to make 2 backgrounds on this one cardboard box. I didn't film it because I didn't really have a plan going into it, so it took me a while to figure out what I was going to do. But I thought I'd show you the finished product. So I didn't buy this box, I had it around the house already because I had been using it to keep Oliver away from the front door at night, because sometimes he'd go and pee on the welcome mat or by the front door. I don't know if it was like an anxiety thing or something. The paper back here with the frog and lily pad print, this was from, Colleen was given it with a bunch of other like clothes and things from a friend's mom who passed away, and they knew that like we crafted, so they gave us a bunch of like papers and wrapping papers and things, and I've been wanting to use it for a while, but I didn't have enough to cover the whole cardboard box, which I sized this like how I cut it down by like 24 inches, and then 6 12-inch spaces across, 5 feet, because that's the standard size I use. It's like based on the scrapbook paper that's 12 by 12. So that's what that is, but I didn't have enough to cover the whole space, so I had leftover scraps of this purple flower paper Colleen brought home from work many years ago, like 7 or 8 years ago. We actually used to have a whole backdrop with this, but it got ruined a while back from water damage, so I didn't have enough of that to make another backdrop. And honestly, like, this is a whole big print, didn't photograph too well. So then I had stickers. These were like whole sheet stickers I got from a thrift store in a huge pack for $2.50. And I wasn't sure like what else we'd use them for, because the smaller stickers would obviously be good for a lot of things like Colleen's card making and scrapbooking and stuff, or my backgrounds and collages that I make. But I love these sheets. This one reminds me of my mom because she loved mice. And then I had some old coloring book pages that I finished, and it's cool just to take them out and use them for things. All of these butterflies are also from a coloring book page. I just cut them out separately. Some of them were done with crayons, some with colored pencils, and some with marker, like felt tip pens. And some of these big stickers were for like lists, so I took some other stickers and filled in the space, or I glued a butterfly. So I think that it came out really cute, and it has a really garden type vibe. Other side, this watercolor looking paper was also from my sister's friend's mom that passed away several years ago, and you can see I didn't have enough of this either to cover the whole area. And I actually had used some of this before for something else, so that's why there's even less of it. But I had all of these leftover cuttings from when I did my nightstand top over with resin. I put some of this contact paper down from the dollar store, and I had to buy a bunch of different sheets and cut them so everything lined up. And then I have some leftover rose paper that used to be a whole background. It was paper Colleen brought home from work, and again, I think that was on the reverse side of the purple stuff that got ruined. And then some leftover wrapping paper scraps that are a background. And then these were like Disney Valentines I got back in February at the dollar store, because I thought they were really cute and they would make a really good background. Some stickers. This was like box cutouts I had left over from Disney Store fashion packs I bought like 4 years ago that were left over from the other background that I made using them. And then all of these flowers were cutouts from different like advertisements and stuff we got in the mail, or like these came with sticker sheets. It was like just a piece of paper that was like, I don't know, advertising the stickers or something, and I just saved it and then cut it out. So yeah, this one is probably my favorite of the two because I love Disney princesses, and I got to use all these cool flower cutouts, and also some cool flower stickers, and this butterfly paper, which is really cool. So sad. The big oak tree in our front yard is obviously cut down, as you can see. I'm really sad because it was my favorite tree in the whole yard, but I don't know if you're going to be able to see all that dead stuff up there. Gypsy moths infested like my whole area in 2016 and then again in 2017, and it killed off a ton of the trees or made them half dead. And this oak tree survived, but the top half has been dead and breaking off, and it got really heavy at the bottom. You can see like some of the leaves there, to the point where it was like touching the porch, and it would droop down. I'd have to trim it to like with just cutters to make the leaves spring up again because it was so bottom heavy. And I'm really sad because I love trees, and I felt like really panicky when they were starting to cut it down. But if it fell from like a windy storm or something, this thing is huge, and it would have, if it fell towards the house, it would have gone right into the living room and killed the guinea pigs like immediately. So yeah, I'm sad. They still have to come back in a few weeks and make it into some firewood for us, but that's sad. And then some of the ones at the end of the driveway got trimmed down too that were already mostly dead because of those stupid gypsy moths. And some of the trees fell on their own, like on the side. But I love trees. It's so sad.
So today I'm retaking the Girl of the Years in their pajamas. Now originally I had this as I think one photo, and then I retook it as two, but now I'm actually going to be branching into three because the set of two before was slightly crammed, and I'm adding both Luciana and Summer. I would have actually started taking these in the summer after Shelly's birthday when I got her Luciana, but Summer didn't have her pajamas yet. They just came this week, so I thought that now is a good time. The reason I picked this backdrop is because it has a lot of jewel tones and nature, and there's a lot of, throughout the all of it, there's a lot of beach themed pajamas, blue pajamas. Leah's pajamas have very similar birds on them, and she'll be in the next set. Plus a lot of other dolls that don't have that, like McKenna and Krissa and Isabel and Luciana have purples, so I thought that it would look nice across the gamut. Before Jess, none of the Girl of the Years had pajamas. Neither Marisol, Kaylee, nor Lindsay did. And then in this group, part of why I did this as a set of 5 instead of 6 is because we're missing Mia. We actually have her pajamas and they're another purple pair. But we don't have Mia, so I figured if we ever got Mia, she'd go between these two. Nikki they didn't make pajamas for, which is weird because after Jess, everybody else got them. Another thing I like about this like late like 2000s to like the early 2010s era is that a lot of them have, like, Jess has a lot of butterflies, and Krissa has this flower on a lot of her things. McKenna has this design on a lot of hers, and Lainey has a lot of dragonflies, so they're very like themed, they're really cool. In the next group there will be a lot of dolls with like tags that actually have their name on their clothing, which I think is also cool. I had a good time with this. I'm going to get out the next group. So these are the clothing bags I'm done with because I changed the dolls into the clothes. These are things that I either need because I need to put something away still. Like something the dolls don't wear, like this thing from Jess's tree swing that we found at a flea market years before we had Jess. And while I was in the drawer for McKenna and Kanani's clothes, Sage and Isabel's clothes were in the same drawer, and I knew I was going to need them in the next shot, so I didn't want to have to keep going through the same drawer. I got out our earring tree because I knew some dolls weren't going to have like earrings that would match, and this is because I changed McKenna's butterflies. Oh, and one other interesting thing about this group is that Jess was like the only one in these dolls that we like hand picked ourselves. Shelly ordered her on eBay in 2016. One of Shelly's earliest videos was making over Jess. But Krissa and Lainey, who funnily enough are next to each other, were both given to us. Krissa by a friend of mine from work, and then these nice guys sent us Lainey back in 2020. Kanani and McKenna were both thrifted. On the order we got them, I mean, funnily enough, Jess is. We actually have McKenna next, and she's all the way on that end. But yeah, so it's kind of cool that, and they're all secondhand because Jess was a used doll on eBay. So they're a really fun group. And I'm going to get out, hi Quasi. He's a little psychotic right now. Hey buddy. You crazy? Oh hello. Nice big eyes. Yeah, he's a little psychotic. So this is the second one in the set. When we first took this a long time ago, we had Leah's pajamas but not Leah, and we wanted Gabriella. And I couldn't help but think even back then that Leah's pajamas like were a dead ringer for the backdrop. Now most of these dolls actually all of them except Isabel, who we got new at the store back when there was one around us, Leah, who we got used. Everybody else was actually from eBay at one point or another. Now, I didn't even know what Sage's pajamas looked like when I first had this motif picked out. But she's another one with kind of like nature theme and jewel tones. And she matches perfectly. Now, the funny thing is, at some point, I'd actually retaken this, thinking we were, quote, never going to get Gabriella. And we actually recently told this story on a recent Dolly Tales video. Long story short, we did get Gabriella. at last, and then I had to retake it again. There's a couple reasons why I'm taking it now. One is that Luciana and Summer weren't here when I originally took these. Summer will be in the next and last installment of this. The other reason is because we had a flooring, but I actually like this one better than the one I picked out last time. This is actually on the opposite side of the other floor, but Shelly hadn't painted this side yet. I like this floor better, and Shelly changed the lighting, so there were a few justifiable reasons to retake this set. So this is the last group. Shelly hasn't even taken a photo yet, but I didn't want to film the clip of the last group. I was afraid Summer's pajamas, which we just got, that's why I'm taking it now, would clash with everybody else, but she and Covey both have stars, and she and Gwen are almost in the exact same color palette. Now there's a little extra wiggle room in this photo, partly because Gwen is so cute and little, and partly because, again, I only put $5 in this one, but I figured we're kind of missing the most from this bracket, and Shelly has a proclivity toward Girl of the Year. We're missing Joss, she would go before Kira. We're missing Lila, she would go between these two, and, you know, now they just came out with Raquel, so, you know, that's a few. I'm not saying we'll get them all one day, but, you know, there's a probability that, who knows, someday we might add one or more to this group, and it would be better if I didn't have to divide them into 4 photos anytime soon, and just like retake one of the photos if it became out of date. So yeah, again, there's a lot of blues, a lot of jewel tones. They look very, very pretty together. Yeah, I had a blast taking this photo, and Shelly had a blast designing earrings and bracelets for these dolls. And this group, everybody was new except Covey, who we actually got on Mercari, but she'd come out so recently in the time that we got her. We got her in 2023, and that was her year, that she was basically new. So yeah, these dolls are a lot different from the dolls in photo 1, who were very used. So it's not even Halloween yet, but I've been taking a lot of dolls in Christmas attire this weekend, because, and I started doing it last weekend, because I had some Christmas themed photos like this one to replace, and some ones that I wanted to add. I'm going to be doing one more photo tonight with Shelly's 2 Julie dolls and Ivy and Julie's 3 Christmas looks, because this very knit flooring will look great with them. And this was the backdrop that we decided we wanted to do with that. Actually, this tree skirt, that's what this is. My meme made this tree skirt. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to show a clip of this, because it just shows how, like, a lot of people go into the same dolls and the same outfits, but, like, Shelly made Sage's earrings. Shelly made these gift boxes. Those are actually LOL surprise moving boxes from her first LOL house that she put in wrapping paper to make look like gift boxes for, like, photos like this. And they're small enough for you to use them for Barbie, and big enough for you to use them for American Girl, and I use them all the time. We made them years ago. And then I put out some of our Welly Wishers accessory sets for this. I made this look almost exactly like I did in the first place, except swapped out the backdrop, because originally I'd used this flooring and I knew I liked it, but the backdrop was actually all this green paper. It was just wrapping paper we had left over, and Shelly had used it to make a backdrop and all those gift boxes. But it got ruined because we had some water damage, and honestly that much in one color was a little bit anyway. But it actually looked pretty good with this, but not as good as this will. I think this is gonna look way better, the end product. And I also feel that, like, the change in lighting will really work. So I had a great time with this.
What a freaking cutie patootie. He was napping in front of the TV because the wood stove is down in the basement, and it's like the heat is right below here, so the floors get really warm, so he likes to sleep in front of the television because that's really warm. But when I got up after eating breakfast, he came out to say hi. That's just what Oliver used to do. Isn't he a nice boy? Yeah. I know, like, the fountains are better for cats to drink from, but Quasimodo's really weird with sounds, so I'm kind of afraid that would freak him out, even though I wish he would drink more water. Isn't that right, cutie? Say hi. You got eye boogers that you don't like to let me wipe off. Yeah, hi, cutie. You good boy? Observe the marshmallow cream. Yeah. Good boy. So handsome. Let's say hi to everyone else. They've got Penelope. Penelope's gotten kind of plump lately. She's put on some weight. But that's okay. She needed to. And then we've got Daisy, who's probably gonna run. Hello, Daisy Duke. Daisy Duck. Beautiful. Then we've got, of course, Dorothy. She's a big girl. And we've got Flower the Skunk back there. We've got Poppy. Say hi, Poppy. I'm sorry, did I bother you? You're so cute. We've got chinchillas. Say hello to Napoleon and Clyde. Yes. So handsome. Hi, Clyde.
Saturday, November 22nd, and I am just wrapping up this photo shoot. So one of the reasons I want to film this is because there's a common misconception. I think people seem to think that whatever's in the Dolly Diaries thumbnail is germane to the video. That's not usually the case. The nice thing about Dolly Diaries is because since it centers on so many random topics that aren't always conducive to photography, but we want to have a pretty thumbnail, I tend to just make whatever I'm inspired to do. That's why you've been seeing a lot of American Girls lately, because back in the spring a friend from work gave us a bunch of American Girl sized furniture and I was looking for excuses to use it. It's usually just whatever inspires me in the moment. Shelly suggested for this fall episode that I could use our new Let's Camp gift set and our new Western Fun barbecue play set, because we got both of these things this flea market season. And I decided, oh hey, I'll look back at some of the dolls we've gotten over the summer and the fall, and see if I can work some of them into the camping theme. So I will take you on a tour of this set. So over here I just kind of piled up some miscellaneous stuff, really just for fun. The boat and the paddle don't go together. The paddle goes to a Coleman set, and this, I forget what this boat goes to, but it goes to something, and it's in our sporting goods drawer. This bike went to one of my childhood Katie's dolls. This came from one of Shelly's old school backpacks growing up.
I think he's running up and down the stairs.
Oh my god, Quasimodo is running up and down the stairs.
You hear him?
I do. He's crazy. This goes to Shelly's childhood camping set, and so do a lot of these other pieces that you'll see. I put out some Kelly toys. I put out these cute cuddly animals. I don't know why, I just felt like it. This is Shelly's Stargazing Liana doll, who she got recently. So cute. This is another piece to that camp set Shelly had as a kid. This is my Legea doll. I got her fairly recently. I got her over my summer vacation this year. That cat either goes to our farm set or Shelly's Daisy doll that a friend got her for her birthday one year. I put our old Let's Camp gift set sleeping bags that went to random flea market pieces of that set in the tent, along with a couple little things. There he is. He's crazy. So then we have our new sisters, Barbie, Kelly, I love her, and Stacy, my favorite. Along with, this is our African American Barbie, who we've had for a long time, that is from that variation of the set. You can see she's had a haircut, but she's gorgeous. This is part of the new Western Fun Play set, the barbecue pit. I just had so much fun playing with this. I don't know why I didn't realize how cool that was when Shelly and I were looking at it. It's just, I had such tunnel vision because of the Dance Magic set that comes with the buffet table. It also comes with this really cool side table, and I've always had a use for something like this, and I always wanted like a little table to put next to the grill to pile up like the buns and the seasonings and the meats, and I made it look like I took like the pinker meats and put them on the table and put these ones on the grill. The dog that came, my photo student Ken, that I've had since I was in my teens. These purple cups I think are new. I think they went to this set, or maybe the Dance Magic set, can't remember. Shelly's little camper Marissa, who she got at the beginning of the flea market season. This fireplace goes to a Pocahontas fashion. I've had it since I was like 9, 8, young. And then Shelly got this Mystery Squad Shawnee and Cali Girl Christy. These are like dolls Shelly wanted since she was a kid. We got them very recently, like a few months back, in the fall. And Shelly, what was the name of that lot?
Barbie Blast.
Barbie Blast. We've had this Fashionistas Ken for a long time, but I just thought he looked kind of sporty. Same with our Happy Family Ellen. And then these National Geographic dolls Shelly got over the summer. And I put out both our Western Fun tables, our one that we've had and the new one, just because I like the table so much, and now I have two, and I'm like, oh sweet, I can use both. I had just a blast putting out doll food. Ryan and Belinda were also Kelly dolls Shelly got this fall. I just thought they looked sporty and outdoorsy and they'd be cute. I put out some toys, put out some animals again. Some of these came in my Pocahontas play sets growing up, and some of them, like this squirrel, came with our like 70s Jody play sets. But yeah, I just had a blast setting this up. I thought it would work because, you know, it's like these dolls have a very fall camping vibe, and the footage that Shelly's going to be using this for as a thumbnail is for the fall. So I just thought it'd be cute.